What's up, everybody? I'm Brodnax.
Big Po.
We were going to take a few seconds to let everybody in on maybe some of the stuff they did not know about Keith's music, his background, and we're going to chew the fat with y'all a little bit, man. Let y'all know how long we've been a part of music and what it took to get to this stage right here, and a lot of unseen stuff and a lot of unheard stuff that y'all might be privy on to this interview. So Gumbo Soul's finna hit its release date, and we're gonna move right into it. So first one, Polo, how'd you get started in music, brother?
Well, Johnny, I'll tell you what. Man, we used to go to high school parties back in the day. And, everybody be having a good time or whatever. Everybody have a keg or this and that. Well, this guy right here, he'd be outside freestyling.
Hey.
So I saw him freestyling. I was like, man, like everybody was like, wow, he can really do that. And so I was like, man, I want to be a part of that. I want to try to do that. And
I remember something like
yeah.
the memory I got in my mind. We was at the bowling alley. I don't know what we was doing there. Probably just hanging out. I think we was shooting pool or something. But there was a table over there on the side, and I really didn't know Keith that well. I walked up to him. He had Fat Pat had just released that Friday, and there was another Houston artist.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, what you know about them? And that kind of suit put me and Keith in the same mind frame, because I was a big Houston, Texas. I pulled for them and still do to this day. But that kind of got me and Keith on the same wavelength, and not too long after that, him and the guys that he was hanging around with started coming and taking a part in the stuff that maybe I had been doing, maybe for, just playing and having fun with, but turned into something way bigger, man. And here we are. What's that say? 20 plus years later, boy.
Yeah.
20 plus years.
You used to have that old S10 with the Daytons, and I had the Mazda B2300 on the 15.
That was back when the mini truck was the thing to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was riding bulls.
Car scene was riding bulls and rims. Car scene come a long way since then, and that was kind of one of them elements in West Monroe where our city may have not been ready for what we was doing at the time.
Right.
Kind of got the feeling like, we may have put ourselves in a position to be outcast, but at the same time, I think we broke down a lot of barriers and a lot of things that was in West Monroe at the time wouldn't be considered, the thing to do.
Right, and if y'all aren't familiar with West Monroe, Louisiana, it's the home of Duck Dynasty. So everybody knows when you mention that exactly where that is. So West Monroe, Louisiana.
That's where we at. And it's a lot more talent down here than just what y'all see on TV, man. A lot of talent down here, and a lot of people that's involved with the music scene. But what do people around you think about you doing music, kid?
Bruh, when you're at a party or something, or you're hanging out with people, they all act like they show love. You know what I'm saying? Oh man, he can rap, or look at dude go. And then when they get back in their vehicle with the homies, you know what I'm saying? They go to blowing down on you, man. So really, there was no love. I mean, you got a handful of people that supported us and what we did, but the love was never really there. If it was fake.
That comes up to saying, that Keith was an underdog, had the underdog mentality in sports and everything that he did. People don't really realize what they did to fuel him was the negativity that came, showing love to Keith while he was in the process, but outside of the process, they was asking themselves, why is Keith doing music? And at that, why is he doing rap music? Being from a town where the high school flew a Confederate battle flag now. This is two white boys in the late 90s, early 2000s doing what probably people would consider today is country rap music. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Wood Ready. I think we released that in 2000 or '01, but that project was called Wood Ready, and we was kind of on the same wavelength that the trend's leaning toward now. Maybe a little bit too quick, maybe a little bit too ahead of its time, but Keith's found himself right back in that scene.
18 years ago, John.
Yeah.
18 years ago.
A country rap album.
We did a country rap album in Nashville, Tennessee.
What did he say? Did he say that he wasn't from the streets? Yeah, the wood, not the hood, but I'm connected with them G's. So let's see what we got next. Growing up in West Monroe as a white rapper, probably a tricky situation for most folks.
Yeah, I mean, like, the generation gap that we're discussing last night, John. We come from West Monroe, Louisiana. We're West Monroe rebels. The high school is rebels. We fly Confederate flags. But I had black friends that I would go pick up to go to football games or go to practice. Lifelong friends. You know what I'm saying? So we didn't think about it back then. Like it would, I'm sure it was mentioned this and that, but we loved everybody. Like we were part of the generation, John, that broke that cycle. If we were raised a certain way or to be racist or we had racist family members, I think me and you both was always the one with hey, hold up,
Yeah. Why would you judge or why would you do that just based off of skin color?
Right.
Why would you take it to those lengths? So I think I could probably say that I did in my family tried to be the guy that was gonna break those molds, and I did, and I'm pretty sure my family's thankful for it. I'm sure Keith had to cross the same lines, but at the end of the day, man, all the things that we did, our generation, breaking those barriers down, going and mingling and showing love to whoever, what creed or color or religion, whatever you was, we show love as long as you show love, get love.
Right.
That was the motto. It's always been the motto. What up, Too Clean? That's his little trademark. But outside of that, man, I can't really see somebody saying, like I told you I wanted to touch on the Confederate flag deal. Keith's got it tattooed on him.
Yeah.
Some people, I sent a couple of cats over here to buy a beat, and they was questioning me when they left. They said, John, what's up? Dude is good people. I know he's good people, but what's up with the flag? And my answer was, y'all said it before you even asked. Dude is good people.
Exactly.
You saw that when you met him and sensed that, but don't let the flag turn that into something that it's not. Don't let the flag, it represents, we just got through telling you all the barriers that we tried to break down between black and white people, and here we are telling you again that although that flag may represent something to somebody that you know or somebody that you come into contact with, that don't mean that everybody represents that.
Absolutely.
We represent that dirty, nasty, filthy, dirty South, son.
Yeah.
And all the lies and all the stereotypes and everything that goes along with being from down here, and it's got a lot to do with black and white culture,
And so we done touched on that part of it. Let's speak on the aspect of being a white rapper in the late 90s, early 2000s. And, to be a white rapper, you had to fool with the people that was doing it. So white people wasn't doing it like talking about. So when we booked a show for like a Juvenile or a Lil Flip or
Mystical,
BG, Slim Thug, Mike Jones, like Bun B, you know what I'm saying? We were the only white people in the club, John.
Most likely.
And fearing for our lives.
99% chance that if we was in the club, we was the only white boys in there, and that would kind of became, regular, something that we didn't really get, we didn't show too much concern with because it was what we did. But with that being said, all the dudes that's getting set up there behind your telephone and situations like this where you're in a closed environment, you don't have to deal with people on a hand-to-hand basis. Let me tell you something, son. When we was coming up, going and doing a show, we was gambling with our life. And that, not to say that we wanted to take those gambles, that was just the gamble we was taking going to do shows. And that's not just saying that white boys took that risk. Tonio, Dre, anybody that we went down there with, doing shows in Louisiana, especially in them little hole-in-the-wall clubs, boy, things could get on another level real quick. Matter of fact, we was in Winfield one night, and I've told this story 100 times, especially the people that has been around me and Keith, I'm sure have heard this, but I'll leave out some of the details. We go to do a show one night. It's a little double-wide trailer. They take the trailers and they attach the two together, right?
Yeah.
So you got a trailer here, you got a trailer here. They booted it together and they made a little club out of it. We're up on stage. The ice game goes bad in the bathroom. Next thing I knew, dude walks out and looked like Freddy Krueger had got a hold of him. This dude come out the bathroom and says, "Hey, if anybody wants to know where old boy caught them cuts from, tell him to come see me." Mayhem. And when I tell you mayhem,
like
son,
a movie.
If you was not fighting, you was hiding.
Yeah.
And that was all it boiled down to. So me and Keith got us some little fold-up metal chairs. Keith put his back right up against mine, and we just kind of circled the club. And if
Trying to find a door.
Like somebody I didn't recognize got too close, whapped him over the head. About the third hit, I lost my chair. It got cradled around somebody's head. But anyway, that's the simple part of the story. We get to the door. The guy that rode with us gets shot
Right
1, 2, 3 times trying to get away from the bullet. We crouched down at the doorway, gunfire going off. So the cars are lined up like this up against the building.
Yeah.
So my car's down on the end. In between every car, there's cinder block walls behind us. Somebody was getting close enough to when we got in the car, I had cinder block dust in my little old bald head.
Yeah, from the fragments of the bullet.
Yeah, so somebody was after us, and anyway, that's just one little story. Matter of fact, when we got back to the car, the guy that got shot going out of the club was laying on top of the car. We got him to the hospital. He made it home safe. We made it home safe.
Blood all inside the car.
Keith, we didn't know where we was at. Keith put his hand on the roof of the Lexus and asked the Lord to get us to the hospital, son. Right, left, 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 right, left. Boom, we at the hospital. The whole time, God bless my mama, 2 o'clock in the morning, she's ringing my phone. I finally get to a safe spot and listen to her voicemail. She lets me know she's up praying for us. She don't know what's going on. The Lord woke her up and she was praying. You know, thank God for a praying mama. You know what I mean?
I remember on the way down there, she hit you up and was like, "John, I just don't feel,
something in the spirit, son. Something in the spirit, son. Thank God for my mama, dude.
But yeah, it's tough. It was tough back in the day. Like, you know, social media and all this, you're in a safe place. You know, you can be this person, you can create
anybody
a person, you can be anybody.
No consequences.
No consequences.
We had real life consequences that took place as soon as we walked in the building, and afterwards, if somebody had something that they didn't like about us, we had to deal with that right then outside the club. So it was a tough life to want to go in and try to, you know, make a hustle out of, but being as passionate as we was to the music, it just led us in that direction. And thank the Lord we was here to talk to y'all about it today, because there was several situations that we might not should have come in where we was talking about some of the stuff me and Keith was doing. We get into Wood Ready and the process that took place to get that music to where it was. Keith, what do you remember about us coming up on Wood Ready, brother, and where we was at in that time, what we was listening to, the people we was dealing with?
We live, you know, like you touched on earlier, you know, that Houston lifestyle.
Big part of everything that me and this man did.
I mean, we listen to UGK, the whole Switch House, DJ Screw. Like, Screw was somebody that we looked up to. And when you listen to music, you know, and whatever you take in, whatever you feed your brain, comes out in who you are. Like people don't realize that. So if you listen to Young Thug or whatever it is that they listen to today, just know that when you soaking all that up, that's affecting who you are. And so the Houston lifestyle was syrup. It was pills. You know what I'm saying? Smoke. Like, that's what it was. So if you listen to that music, you had a white cup full of syrup, John.
Sure enough. Mama used to say, "John, you can't eat Tupac 3 times a day and not expect to shit Tupac, boy."
Right.
Know? I mean, so be mindful about, you know, what you soaking in, brother, because it's eventually gonna find its way out. But the drug culture was so big in Houston that it took hold of our life. Not only did it take hold of our music, it took hold of our life. We was drinking big drink, and
look, not only was we doing the drinking it, we was in the distribution of it.
Sure enough.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we was doing things that they was talking about in those songs. We was doing those things.
Yeah.
And it affected our career because it paused our career. Yeah, it paused our career when I guess I was 20, 21. when we signed the entertainment deal with Joe Guerrero.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what he told us, John. I know you remember this. He said, guys, he was 70 then, wasn't he?
Yeah.
About 70 years old. He said, guys, I don't know nothing about rap music, but I can compare apples and oranges. And you guys got it. So what he did was go and explain to him what he did for us. And
Joe put us in a situation where we didn't have to financially fund our music anymore. And that was the hardest part. Of course, we could string some things together and get some money put together for some stuff, but Joe put us in a position where we could actually go out to Nashville and get Kebo Cyrus on guitar on one of our albums, or, you know, just put us in a position where we could actually get out there and do some stuff. And man, if we would have had visuals and social media back then, man, you know, would have been a big difference. But everything was hand to hand, you know, everything was hand to hand. Wood Ready kind of took its own place in our community.
Explain to them what Wood Ready is.
Wood Ready is wood makes paper, paper makes cash. You know what I mean? And we was at that stage where we was just we was hungry. We was hustling for. We was trying to make it our livelihood and our lifestyle. So Wood Ready, man, we was ready to get paper.
And Wood Ready is a group. It's me and him as a group. You know, that's what Wood Ready is. And you know, I explain how the town. You know, you like
the culture kind of, you know, revolved around Houston's kind of. You know, we kind of brought that Houston style and sauce back to West Monroe, and we wanted to bring our own little country. You know, we out here in the middle of nowhere, you know, and we wanted to invite people in to see that side of life. Not only, you know, was we pretty much street guys and street rappers at that point in time. Keith kind of touched on how we was living, but we wanted to invite them in on the countryside too, and that's where the wood, from the wood to the hood, come about. That was our kind of little motto, tagline, from the wood to the hood. We kind of felt like we controlled what went on down here, and for a little point in time that may have been the case. You know, we had a big influence over what people was doing down here, and that'll kind of lead us into the next question, is transferring from that life that we just been speaking on to getting older, children, and now we got real responsibilities. Can music pay the bills? You know, everything an artist goes through. You know, everything an artist goes through. We've been through that. We walked those grounds, bro. We stomped that, man. You know, we were active. I mean, shows every weekend, sometimes 2 shows a weekend. The grind and hustle that it took, working a job, raising kids, you know, trying to be decent people. And then that kind of put us in the category of, like, you know, people say, you gonna jump out, John and Keith, and now y'all doing this Christian music or spiritual music. And I was telling Keith the other night on the phone, I said, man, you need to explain to people, or we need to explain to people, the transition that you go through when you coming out of a street life and then you trying to turn over a new leaf.
Well, you know, but at the time, John, you know, in 2008, I had my wreck.
Yeah.
I worked pipeline. I worked directional drilling. So what I did was, all these pipelines that come through everywhere down here, if they were to cross a water body, like say the Mississippi River, was actually my first job I ever worked on. 42-inch pipe. Imagine 42 inches, you know, around. That pipe's got to go underneath the Mississippi River. So what I did was, we drilled the hole and we pulled the pipe underneath. And I worked on the pipeline doing that. I did environmental stuff like that too. But we were working in Minden, Louisiana. I had just come back down from staying in Sulphur, Louisiana for a long time. And I come home for one Friday night. Yeah, and actually went to the bar at the Hobnob, and I think that was the weekend that Michael Knight, believe it or not, was playing here in West Monroe. You know, just kind of related to the country rap thing. But so I got messed up. You know, I was making.
Had a good night.
I had a good night. Made some bad choices, and you know, things went south after that.
Mm-hmm.
So me and my wife was coming back from the bar that night. And I shouldn't have been driving. She couldn't drive either, you know. So, and I was going to my dad's house, and he lived about, I don't know, 4 or 5 miles from me out here in the country. And so we were headed that way, and so we got on the road, Highway 552, where I actually live now, and we got about, I don't know, 2 miles from Daddy's house, and I lost control, flipped the vehicle. I had a Nissan Titan 4-wheel drive. It just got me some brand new 33s on there that I think that week, and I went out the driver's side windshield, hit the asphalt, and I wasn't wearing my seatbelt. Broke my back, broke my hip, my shoulder, 6 ribs. They airlifted me to Shreveport, and it was a bad deal because a week later I woke up in the hospital and I couldn't move my legs. I couldn't move either one of my legs. When I come to, I was just thinking to myself, what did I just do? I was making $80,000 a year. I had my daughter. I was married, had a stepdaughter, and I blew it. On one night, I blew it, and I was thinking to myself, how much trouble am I going to be in, because they found all kind of pills on me. They found blood on me. I couldn't walk at all. And so I had to wait another week before they did surgery, and they put stainless steel rods in my back. And that whole week, I remember looking at the nurses and the doctors and saying, am I ever going to be able to walk again? And they never would give me an answer, and I was just, am I ever going to be able to walk again? And so, I went to Cornerstone, which is a rehabilitation facility.
That's when they brought you back to West Monroe?
Yeah, when they brought me back to West Monroe.
We started coming to visit.
When you come up there to visit me, and, I wake up every day, and I was hurting so bad, man. It was just...
But that boy would go in there and put that time in to... They had these...
parallel bars.
He was up there working every day trying to get his just normal functions back. Go ahead, bro.
And, so I wake up every day and I just, I'd ask myself, is it really worth it? Is it really worth, am I going to be in a wheelchair? Or, what's my life going to be like? Did I just ruin my whole life? And I had a choice. I could have laid down right there, but I didn't.
And that's where that underdog fight keeps it was always like that, but even more so after the wreck. Keith always had to fight to put himself in a good position, sports,
always fighting.
Whatever, so it was normal for Keith to fight after the wreck. And you wouldn't know it by seeing him or meeting him now, but dude had to teach himself all the basic fundamentals. Dude had to teach himself all the basic motor skills, and he had always had problems with his hand from stingers in football, but he had to teach himself all his motor skills again, and we was there beside him then. He coming out of the wreck. You take an already existing Houston drug culture guy and then put him in a car wreck, and you know what's going to happen after that. Them boys will load you up with everything that you can handle at that doctor's office,
And so for 8 years, I was prescribed Oxycontins, Lortabs, and it got to the point where, when I had that wreck, I lost, me and my wife split up. I was having to live at my grandma's. Had a camper that I lived in for a couple years, and this whole time I didn't even want to be here.
Come a long way, dog.
Yeah.
Come a long way. And to get to the point where you can see, if you don't know the inside details of what it took to get here, you know what I mean? This is the kind of, not only do you have to deal with the kind of stuff that comes from trying to be an artist, life puts itself in the way of that too. And Keith still overcame and came back time after time until you eventually see what you get now. And Keith's had so many licks on the chin. We used to joke about it, especially when all that confusion and all that stuff was going on in the midst of, Keith broadcasting his life on Facebook or Snapchat or Instagram or wherever you see him. He let people in on all that shit that most people would want to close their doors to. And I think that's why people have accepted Keith so much, is just because he's been willing to show you all the skeletons. And in this day and age,
that show the skeletons, but show them that you can overcome those skeletons. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's about. So, you know, with me being an addict and being on those pills, it got to the point where, John, I had to shoot them up to fill them.
Yeah.
To get that high, that numbing that I wanted, I started shooting them up. You know, it was nothing for me to grab a spoon and take 3 Oxycontin 30s and put it in my arm and just lay there and just drool on myself. You know what I'm saying? So they found me right here where we're at here in the pasture. I had a camper behind the barn. And they found me passed out, choking on my vomit. And they called the ambulances and got them out here. So, you know, the paramedics got to me. I wasn't hardly breathing. And they hit me with that EpiPen. And I come up, they said I just come up like the dead, you know, just rose up. And so I didn't die that time. I didn't die in the wreck, you know. But I was getting tired of living that lifestyle.
Oof.
It was wearing me down, bro. You know, I was a full-blown addict, and I'm still an addict. I still face that challenge every day. But I woke up now, you know, I kept going past this church up the road, Point Assembly of God, and I was like, man, you know, and I was raised in the church. I was saved when I was 12 years old.
Knew better.
I knew better, knew where I was, you know, I knew where the answers were, but I refused to go there. And so finally, I broke down. I went to church, man, and it was there that the Lord just, you know, and everybody there helped out. And, you know, I got away from that lifestyle. I was teaching the youth. I was helping out at the church. I was in the choir, you know, doing all those things. And I was on a youth trip up in Arkansas on the Buffalo River. And I got to bring my daughter with me. And so, you know, after the wreck, you know, I have some disabilities. You know, I can't, you know, run. I can't jump and stuff like that. So we stopped we're on the Buffalo River in a kayak, me and my daughter. So we stopped on a sandbar, and we walked to a waterfall. And it was like 1.5 miles up a hill, you know, and I didn't do good. I was, you know, even then I didn't do good. And so I had a little cane, and when me and my daughter, she said, Daddy, I'm tired of walking, you know. I was like, baby, come on, it'll be worth it. So we get to that waterfall, and I remember looking up, I said, man, I said, baby, this is God's country. Right there. And then I didn't know it at the time what I was doing and I was experiencing. So the whole time back I was writing. I was back writing songs. You know, I'm in church, I've got my mind right, walking with the Lord.
We had just reconnected. We had just reconnected because I got sober a little bit earlier than Keith, and all my testimony is pretty much the same. I didn't have to go through quite the challenges that Keith went through, but mine was, you know, we was out there.
Yeah.
Me and Keith had just reconnected. Nothing dealing with music at the time, but we was just, I had heard that Keith was trying to come over and turn over a new leaf, and at that time I had already, so we reconnected, and eventually music came back out.
Yeah.
You know,
what led to that, John, was you know, right after that trip to Arkansas, and then right after me and you talking, you know, I had a dream one night, and the dream was I was standing out here in my yard, and I used to have, when I was becoming sober and I was getting connected with the Lord, I had dreams all the time, like vivid dreams. And so I was out in the yard, and I would see a missile go up, and it'd go up, and we'd get to its peak, and it would say Dallas, and I'd see it go, whew, boom, and it hit Dallas, and I'd feel the ground shaking here where I was standing. I was standing out in the yard feeling it. Then another one would go up, it'd say Memphis, boom, Tennessee or Nashville, you know, I'd feel the ground shaking. And when I woke up, it was, you know, it was like a message was sent to me, and more than a message, a passion and desire. And what I felt when I woke up was, you're finna do this music. The Lord saying, hey, you're finna do this music, and I'm finna take you around the world, and you're gonna tell your stories and your testimonies.
Amen.
And, you know, you're gonna help some people. So that was where God's country was created, on the ideal part of it, aspect of it.
Well, and just coming out of, what people need to understand is lifestyle change happening in the middle of an album.
Yeah.
So what you got on God's country was Keith transitioning from his normal lifestyle, street lifestyle, whatever you want to call it, into another person. And there's steps that you got to take when you taking those steps. So you super on fire for the Lord, man. You come out, you want to make every move the right move. You don't want to give nobody the wrong impression. And if you do still have some flaws or some secrets, that time might not be the perfect time to tell the world those things, because you're in a new growing stage. You're trying to become a new person and eventually lead Keith to the person he is today, where he's not so worried about the interpretation or the impression that he's given from his music. He's just more so having a good time being himself and trying to get settled back into a normal routine where he's not afraid to let some of his flaws and some of his character issues or whatever come out, because those are the things that really make people fall in love with you. You know, when you're vulnerable and you let people see the inside of things where they may not be able to get a grasp of this or that, but there's something there for everybody. And leading up to that, with Gumbo Soul being Keith's title of his new album, you get to see every little facet and every little stage of his life up to this point, you know, whether it was rock and roll or whether it was country music or rap music or country rap music. You get to see all those stages of Keith's life bundled up into one little package.
Yeah.
You know?
With God's country, with me, I think this is art, there's a lot of good rappers out there, people that got bars.
Yeah.
But can they create a project?
Artistry,
yeah. Can they do that? And I try to explain that to people all the time. And like, look, the old dude goes hard right here. You got super bars, but super bars don't tell stories. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these guys that got bars, they're not telling nothing. They're not connecting to the lyric, And with Gumbo Soul, just like Thicker Than Whiskey, it's a song about my daddy being an alcoholic all my life. My daddy passed away in 2008. He was 53 years old. My daddy woke up every day drinking whiskey or vodka, smoking 3 packs of cigarettes a day.
Yeah.
And when I like I said in the song, I remember when I was 5 years old, Mom would be like, all right, your daddy's coming to pick you up this evening. It'd be Friday evening. And my daddy would never show up.
Yeah.
And I'd go to crying.
Straight out loud.
And Mom would be like, it's going to be all right, and it wasn't nothing my daddy could do wrong, but, he didn't come to my graduation. He wasn't always at my baseball and football games.
And how many people can relate to that, son?
Yeah,
there ain't no telling how many people can actually relate to their dad not being in the thick of their childhood or their adolescence or being a young adult or whatever.
Right.
Mine wasn't there, and it put you in a position to lean on your mama, and then, your relationship formed with your mom, all big supporter of Keith's music, man, kind of let that dude, go and be his own man, even though it was outside of what Keith had been raised up to be, they still support him, dude. We was out there at the West Monroe Crawfish Festival of the night, 12 o'clock at night. This man's how old? Grandparents?
They're 85.
85-year-old grandparents out there sitting in the audience, man. So come a long way to get to this point, man, and to be at it with you, dude, and be sitting here telling these people, letting them see the insides of it, dude. It's a pretty cool deal, man.
Yeah.
Being able to say that we come from, a lot of people's in prison for the life that we live, or like I told y'all coming home from the Winfield deal, a lot of people wouldn't even have made it to this point. You ain't got no, to come from Louisiana, man, and pick this as a lifestyle. A lot of people don't go look at the list of Louisiana rappers that aren't around no more. Go look at the list of Houston rappers that ain't around no more. Those are the same decisions and lifestyles that we pick. So to say that we come out of it and it's still here to tell the tale, man, don't take that light, man, and don't take the lyrics to, we're not just coming up with songs to give y'all something to bob your head to, dude. This dude's got a hope. Matter of fact, what are you wanting people to take away from your music?
Look, I just first, each song needs to wake you up to an open mind. I think we don't take a self-inventory every day. What
we need to improve on.
Yeah, we need to find out what we need to improve on, and with this music, it's an outlet to help me improve on myself too.
Basically, preaching to yourself.
Yeah, not only am I, taking what's in my heart and writing it down and painting that picture, and using my stories to relate for those folks, it's helping me too. And so when these people hear my songs and say, Po, you know, your song Four Walls, you know, made me stop doing dope, or, you know, or Darkness Bright, man, it, you know, it lifted me up, or whatever song it may be, that helps me deal with my demons.
Sure does.
Because I got demons.
Music
okay?
is just therapy for artists, man. Music is just therapy. We go in there and write a song about some bad dealings with some friends. We may have freed up those demons by doing that song.
Exactly.
You know, getting that shit off of us. That's how we get that shit off of us, and then giving it to y'all so everybody can hear and see and get all the details to how it happened and how it happened. That frees us up, man. That gets us off of that and allows us to move past it.
Yeah.
When we do a song about something like that, we're actually dropping that off to y'all, gift wrapping it, and we're moving on to the next stage of life, man.
Yeah.
So music has been a super therapeutical.
Just like think about it, John. Like, you know, the video, we just released a video. Think about it. Go check it out on YouTube, BIGPOMUSIC. You know, and that's what that song's about. And the whole verse is of something I just recently went through. Other than the fact that I took away, back in the day when I used to get in a fight, say I had a girlfriend or wife, you know, I like to get in the truck and go listen to some music.
Just cool off for a
and
little
just
bit.
think about it, you know, and maybe we need to pray about it, you know, instead of going and numbing whatever situation it is that we're trying to numb. I think maybe we should pray about it, you know, and go straight to the source to fix it.
Because no matter how, my stepdad told me one time, he said, boy, you gotta have chemicals to get up and go function during the day. You gotta have something to help you deal with all the. I ain't got shit to help me deal with all the craziness that's around me every day. You gonna wake up, buck up, look at yourself in the mirror, son, and ask yourself, do you have to have chemicals to make you the person that you want to be? That's some weak ass shit, you know. And if you not, bro, if you still depending on chemicals to this day, man, it's a weakness, man. You know, and that's a flaw that you're going to have to overcome. And believe me and this dude know how hard it is, but you got to put the effort in to come out on the other side of that deal, man. It may be the biggest fight you ever had to have, you know, but we can both testify to that, and praise the Lord for, you know, like I said earlier, man, a praying mama. I may not have made it through some of my obstacles, but we got Gumbo Soul on the way, man. It is right here upon us, dude, and Keith's met a lot of people in his path that I believe can put this project up on a new level, man, and trying to do stuff like this where we can actually let the people in and see the inside scoop and the inside story on some stuff, man, I thought would be pretty cool. But we wanted to take some time and tell y'all some little old tales and let y'all run through, you know, the actual getting to hear. You know, sometimes all people see is just the end result, man. If you knew what it took to get here at this table, dog, you would respect it just off of the strength of what we had to go through to get here. You know, no bullshit. You know, this was you know, life ain't no joke, boy. It threw some punches at us that may have Mike Tyson KO'd some other individuals, boy, but we kept on pushing, son, and we kept on trucking, man. And
here we are, and guess what? June 1st, Gumbo Soul is coming out.
Yes, sir.
We just had a video just come out. Think about it. We got a video coming out June 3rd. Hear Me Coming.
Almost seen 20K on the acapella.
Yeah, we did an acoustic version, and shout out to everybody supporting, man. Appreciate all my Po folks, man. Y'all have released, man, and you know, everything I've been working hard for is here.
Work pays off when you don't take no days off, boy. For real.
Definitely. And you know, and so we're excited about this. Got John on a song called Cheers Toast on the album.
We got a little song we did together called Hold Up. I think we're going to go up there and see Chuck and try to see if we can put something together with it. But outside of that, man, we might be digging into some new Wood Ready stuff, Wood Ready 2.0. We're going to have some fun with that. We really just finna start cutting up and having fun, man.
But that Wood Ready 2.0 is priority.
Yeah.
So all the people that, you know, used to bang us, you know, as a group, we're gonna capture that one more time.
We had a shout out to all the people, man, that stuck with us through the stages. We was really ABN for real, asshole by nature, and we thought that was the only way that we could get through to people. That we thought that was the only thing people respected, was that attitude, like trying to get somebody to do something kindly and humble. We didn't have the best results with it, but I think as we've grown and matured and aged, there is a way to get things done the right way, business minded, without having to debo people. And we open to anybody that wants to do this and on looking and saying, you know, can we touch them dudes? Can we work with them dudes? Sure you can, man. Reach out and network with other artists, man. If you ain't complimenting and showing love to other artists, homie, don't look to get love shows your way,
Show
man.
love, get love.
Don't get confused where you get in the competitive mode. And I know us as artists, we want to compete with other artists, but there's a point in time where you got to shut that off, man. You got to show love to the dudes that's really putting it down. You know, it's got to be a give and take. But it's a lot of guys out there right now, man, that has done a huge influence on, you know, the avenue that Keith is in right now, man, and a lot of guys. Tell him a little bit about that, kid.
Yeah, shout out to all the ones that's setting the tone in this game. Upchurch, Adam Calhoun. You know, Justin Time, Eye for an Eye, Big Chuck, Damn It Boy, you know, Tin Man, all these other guys, man, that's putting in the work and hitting the road. Big Murph, Chevy Taylor, Kelso, you know, all these guys that are out there fighting and clawing every weekend.
Putting in the time.
Putting in that time, man. And just to be able to rub elbows with these guys, man, it's been a blessing. To be around the people that dream just like I do.
Chasing the same hustle.
The same hustle.
Why would you not get along with people that are chasing the same dream and hustle as you? What more could you have in common with somebody? See, but people get the wrong impression, boy. You think that you got enough shine to get all that light yourself when you really don't. You just convinced yourself that you do, boy. Power is in numbers.
Yeah. And
when you get a gang of like-minded people that's chasing the same hustle together, boy, you know, they're scared of that, man, and they're scared of it for a reason, because, you know, you see the influence starting to take hold, man, and the next thing you know, you can control the wave, and you can control the angles, and you can control every facet of it, but you got to have them numbers first, you know? And we just taking a second to reach out to y'all, man, to show y'all some love, because without the fans and the support of the people, this wouldn't have been this is just the idea. It's just a dream. It turns into reality with y'all. Y'all are the reason that this is a reality right now. So anybody that's took time to show Keith love or support Keith, hey man, I thank you. You know what I mean? Because Keith did a lot of the leg work while I was out, you know, trying to be a family man and get myself in the right position to even be a part of anything. You know, I had to get myself right first, and Keith was doing all the groundwork and all the leg work and all the hustling and all the grinding and all the scratching. So those that know me and Keith as a group, Keith is the reason that we got up and went and did. I was just a dude that thought talent was all we needed. I thought that all you had to do was go in there and kill a 16. Bullshit. This was the dude that was getting up, setting it up, making the phone calls, doing the leg work, and he's still that dude, man. He's still that dude, bro. You know what I mean? So it ain't no room for no hate going on in here. We opened up the doors and showed you the good, the bad, the ugly, brother, and what's to come, man. Yeah. And that's going to be the blessing is what's to come, because it's coming. And we right on the brink, man. Keeps right on the brink, man. And it's been so fun for me to watch. Bringing him into the music and seeing him take the shape that it's taking, man, for a dude that kind of invited him in here, man, it's been a blessing for me to watch, man.
Yeah, it's, you know, he's the reason why I'm in here doing this. You know, I saw him, you know, freestyling, and said to myself, I want to do that. That shit looks cool. Like, let me do that.
It was all a dream.
And then here we are, you know what I'm saying? So Gumbo Soul, June 1st, y'all. It's going all the way down. You know, we want to get as many units sold as we can. This is what I do to pay my bills. You know, I had to have money coming in to be able to do it again. So thank y'all, Po folks. I appreciate y'all. Be on the lookout for Gumbo Soul with Ready 2.0. GOB. You know, shout out to all my people, man. Everybody that's helped me when I didn't have shit. You know, because there's been a bunch of times that
was the case.
People bought me cheeseburgers when I didn't have nothing to eat because I'm on the road or whatever it may be. You know, thank y'all. And I appreciate it if y'all went and bought that gumbo soul, man. It mean a lot to me.
Go get it. What you waiting on?